Good evening. Welcome to another episode of OmenG's Stupid Scary Stories. Number 89, Part 2. Now, earlier story was a little strange and weird, but it's time to talk about what's been going on since Rosamund came back. It's been like a week, and boy, have we had some adventures. You know, I figured Rosamund would probably enjoy going into some of these places that I've gone to and been when I was doing, certain stuff. So I was like, I'm going to take them with me, because every now and then, you guys know, I'll shrink myself and go into animal world or insects and stuff. And I was like, there's this compost heap that we have in the back. And the last time I was putting some orange peels and shit in it, I noticed this colony of ants had moved in, built their fucking little hive or whatever you call them, colony, tunnel structure, whatever the fuck it is, they built it, under the compost heap. So I lifted up the plastic and it was like all these fucking ants. And I've never seen these ants before. They're like red with a black tail type section, abdomen or whatever they call that part, thorax. This is called the abdomen. Okay, where a stinger would be if they had stingers, which I think they do. Some have stingers because they are related to wasps. If anybody didn't know that, they're actually related to wasps, which would explain this story a little bit. Anyway, so I'm sitting in here one day, and an ant just so happened to be, in the room here. I see it crawling across my rug. I'm like, hey, the fuck are you doing in here, asshole? This is an ant-free zone. That's discrimination, man. Yeah, I'm allowed to discriminate against insects. There's no law against it. We kill you guys all the time. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds, and I smashed him. I didn't give him the 5 seconds because, they've been biting me lately. I'll be sitting on the front porch chilling and shit. Just minding my own fucking business. And they'll just come up out of nowhere and I'll feel like this hot pinpoint pain. I'll look down and it'll be sitting there looking at me like, fuck you! And it'll jump off and run off. I'm like, oh, you little motherfuckers. So anyway, yeah, like I said, I was putting some orange peels and things on the compost heap. And I noticed this colony of ants. So I come back in the house. I'm like, yo, Rosamund. Hey, what's going on? What are you talking about? Shit. I was in here sleeping. You're bothering me. Waking me up. I don't really feel like doing anything today. I'm trying to relax. I'm like, relax? You get to relax every day that I'm at work. This is the weekend, man. It's hangout time. Done hanging out with the kids. Cooked dinner, we ate. Let's go fuck around with these ants. Oh, come on. Rosamund, please. Please. I'm telling you, this is not gonna go well. Nothing ever goes well when you're fucking with bugs and things. Don't you remember that big ass bird? Almost pecked your eyeballs out and shit. Killed him. His brother came, or whatever it was, and shit on us. Well, you guys. He ain't shit on me. He shit on you. Yeah, because you turned into a giant cat, got pecked in the eyeball, and you just jump back in your jar. Bottle. Yeah, bottle, not jar. Whatever you jump back into, you jumped in it and left us, me, there to fight for myself. Good thing my son came and made his brain explode. Now, I thought my kids were sleeping. That's what I thought. But my youngest comes down. Hey, Dad, what's going on? Nothing much. Hanging out with Rosamund, planning to go on a little adventure. A little adventure? Yeah. What kind of adventure? A little adventure. Why is it a little adventure? Because we're going to be little when we go on the adventure, so I'm calling it a little adventure. Oh, You're gonna shrink yourself. Yep, I'm gonna shrink myself. Can I come? Oh man, it's not gonna be a good idea. Reese, you shouldn't do it. Don't bring your son. I mean, what happens? Ants get. Oh, you're gonna go see ants. Haven't you had enough ants, Dad? I mean, there's some ants you had before. You put in dirt in the box in the basement, and they tried to fucking eat you and stuff. Hey, Miles, watch your mouth. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that I was swearing. But, you know, the last time, they got big and run around the house, and stuff happened. Well, we're going to shrink ourselves down. I'm not going to bring the shrink ray with me. I'm just going to go, we're going to explore and see, like, what's going on with those new ants that seem to have moved in. The ones that look weird, like they're wearing red jackets and have black regular bodies with red jackets. I want to know about these ants. You know, they're on our property. So me and Rosmo were going to go there. And I'm bringing Rosmo just in case, you know, so he could do what? So I was just about to tell you that. If you let me, you know, finish talking and stuff, I'm not interrupting when I'm talking. You know, I'm just going to tell you what we're going to do. We're going to have him there just in case they try to do some crazy shit. And if they try to do some crazy shit, I'm going to have Rosmo do some demon stuff to him. I don't know if my demon stuff is going to work against bugs. Your demon stuff doesn't work against bugs? No, I've never really tried it on bugs. You know, bugs don't suffer. You know, they don't think about it. Why don't bugs think? I don't know why they don't think, man. Don't start asking me a whole bunch of questions. Ask your dad why they don't think. He's Mr. Bugologist and shit wants to go down there and fuck around bugs. Well, why don't they think, Dad? Well, they don't have brains. They don't have brains? No, they don't have brains. So how do they move around and do stuff? Well, they have a nervous system and stuff. Technically, they don't have like a brain like we have, you know. They are built for function and purpose, where we're built to think and do dumb shit. They just do what they're programmed to do. Programmed? What are they, like little computers? No, they're not computers. They're not like little robots and shit. Oh, was I wrong? Well, fast forward, right? You know, me, my son, Rosmo, we decide, well, fuck it. I'll shrink him. He can come along. You know, he's never gonna let me live it down if I don't. I should have told him to stay big and stay near the damn fucking hive thing just in case some shit went sideways. But then what's he gonna do if we're down in there? So, you know, fuck it. We all go. Not a good idea. Retrospect. Hindsight is always 20/20. Foresight is usually 0/0. Anyway, so you know, I'm shrunk, he's shrunk, Rosmo just shrinks himself down. But I had to shrink his jar, you know, to bring him. So he couldn't do any crazy shit while we were in there. Because, you know, Rosmo's Rosmo. I don't necessarily trust that he might not try some crazy ass shit if given the opportunity. You know, I mean, if I was him, I would. Even if I wasn't trying to kill me, I'd at least try to get me back. I mean, he did try to get me stung by a fucking hornet. Anyway, so we get to the mouth, or the opening, of this little, well, big ant colony. One of the ants is sitting, you know, standing guard, I should say, at the entrance. He's strange looking. You know, now that we're smaller and we can see him more up close, I notice, excuse me, these aren't regular ants. They're robotic. Tiny robot ants. And they're being piloted by these even tinier people. Like, smaller than us in our shrunken state. Like, what the fuck is this shit? Wow, Dad, look at that. There's like a little tiny person inside this robot ant. Maybe we can talk to him. No, Miles, don't go over there. Miles, please. My son just takes off and goes over there. He's like, hey, excuse me. Robot ant turns around and looks down at him. Jaws open like he's about to eat my son. So, you know, of course, I come running up. Hey, what are you doing? Fucking just wants to ask you a question. How did you guys get here? Who are you people? Why are you not small as us, but small? We've seen humans. You're not normal size. No, we're not normal size, obviously, because, you know, we're small, but not as small as you, like you just stated. You know, we're, you know, travelers from the house over there, the big white and green thing. You know, you see us walking around taking out trash and stuff, you know, mowing grass. By the way, I'm going to be mowing the grass this weekend, so, you know, you guys might want to take shelter. What the fuck are you? Like, how are you so small and in robot ants? Why robot ants? Why not live in a house, you know, in the walls or some shit, build like a little city inside the house? Well, you know, our queen doesn't want that to happen. She would prefer that we build these giant robot ants, live here among ants, these underground tunnels. It's actually quite a nice system we have here. You know, every now and then some ants do try to attack us and stuff. And we have to defend ourselves. And, you know, that's why we built these giant robot ants. And we fuck them up all the time. And we found a nice spot here by your compost heap that seems to be feeding us all the stuff we need. Well, you know, I hate to, like, be the bearer of bad news, but I plan on moving the old compost heap a little bit further over, under by the burn pit there, away from the shade, because it's not composting fast enough. You plan on doing what? Moving the compost heap over there by the fire pit, because here under the shade it's not getting sun, it's not composting fast enough. I don't think I'm going to be able to let you do that. What do you mean? You don't think you're going to be able to let me do that? Oh God, here we go, man. I told you, this shit always goes sideways. It always goes sideways. Every time you're talking to some kind of creatures that aren't from this earth, things go sideways. I don't like the look on his face. So he notices, you know, the jar talking, because he doesn't see, you know, Rosamund swirling around in it, because Rosamund is right at this particular point in time a black smoke mist. So the little guy is like, what the fuck? You have a talking fucking jar? I'm like, no. What kind of magic is this? It's not magic. It's not magic at all. See, what it is I caught a demon. Like, you caught a demon? What's a demon? You guys don't know what demons are? No, we don't have demons. What are demons? Are they some kind of an animal? No, I really don't have a whole lot of time to give you this lesson what demons are, but I'll give you the short and long of it. Demons are creatures from another paradigm, you know, parallel dimension, that feast on the suffering of human beings and other sentient life forms. I don't know why they've never found you, because they would probably have a lot of fun with you. A lot of fun with us. What are they, like, you know, party people? No, they don't. Well, yeah, actually they are kind of like party people. It's just that their parties aren't fun for the people who are involved in them, if you understand what I'm saying. I guess, sort of. But anyway, like I was telling you, we can't let you, you know, move the heap. Especially way the fuck over there. It's miles away. No, it's not. It's, oh, well, yeah, I guess for you guys that would be considered miles away. But, you know, listen, we have to move it because it's not doing what it needs to do, and I need it to grow peppers. What are peppers? Miles, you want to tell them what peppers are? Well, you know, my dad, he makes, like, hot sauce and stuff every now and then and stuff, and, like, he has to grow peppers because where we moved from, they had lots of peppers, but we moved to, they don't really have a whole lot of peppers. So, you know, my dad wants to make more hot sauce, like I just told you. You know, when I started telling you the story about the hot sauce and the peppers, and these peppers are like little fruits that grow, and they're hot and spicy and stuff. What's hot and spicy? You don't know what hot and spicy is. No, I don't know what hot and spicy is. We eat, like, rotting, decaying plant matter, which doesn't taste much like anything. Really? That sounds disgusting. Yeah, well, you know, for us, it's delicious. I mean, I guess, you know, never tasted anything else to know what delicious is or isn't. But, yeah, it sustains our life. Dad, I don't want to talk to this guy anymore. He eats garbage. Why don't you take us to see your queen? And maybe we can arrange some type of travel for you guys. You know, we'll bring you over there and you can rebuild. Yeah, do you know how long it took us to build this shit here? No, I don't know how long it took you to build this shit here. I mean, I put the heap down, and 2 days later there was this huge, gigantic colony of ants that I've never seen before. And I'm assuming that's you, obviously, because I'm standing here where I saw it and talking to you, and, you know, where the place was. You know what? Listen. We need to talk to the queen. So, you know, he, like, puts his hand up to his head like he's talking on some kind of radio or some shit. Opens the ant's eyeball and steps out. Come with me. He gets back in the ant's eyeball and turns around and starts walking. Man, I'm thinking to myself, why did he get out of the ant in order to tell me to follow him? He could have just told whatever, I don't care. So, you know, me, Rosamund, and my son, we were following behind this ant into the tunnel. It's like, as you get a little bit in, there's like these metal doors that open up sideways, sort of like, you know, doors on a bunker. And we go inside. They're not all in ant suits. They're just chilling, you know, walking around naked, because I guess they don't like clothes and stuff. I didn't notice that the one in the ant suit was naked because he wasn't naked. He was wearing like some kind of little suit to control the robot ant. But the rest of them were all naked, and they don't have like sex organs. You know, they're just plain, look like little people, naked. Like, okay, this is weird. Maybe she lays eggs. Yeah, that's gotta be what it is. I said to the first naked one that walked up to me, who didn't look like a man or a woman, just a person without a sex, without any real features. They were kind of like bald, you know, regular eyes, nose, ears, but they all kind of looked the same. So like clones of one another, right? They looked like they could either be male or female. They were androgynous looking, let's put it that way. Pretty, but yet masculine at the same time, if that makes any sense. So this thing walks up to me, and it's like, we hear you want to see the queen. I said, how did all of you hear that at the same time? Well, we're kind of like ants in a way. We have a hive mind. A hive mind? Really? So like you guys are all talking to each other now? Well, sort of. We're not talking to one another, but we're talking to one another. Okay, you're talking to one another. What's the difference between talking to one another or talking to one another? The inflection that I put in my voice is the difference, you dick. Whoa! No need to be rude. No need to be rude. Jeez. Well, we heard what you're planning. Yes, and I'm planning to help you move this whole colony there. How are you going to move the whole colony? Well, you guys can all crawl out into a box, and I'll move that box to a new area, and you can start digging again. But then we'll be exposed. But you're tiny as fuck. What's going to see you? Bugs, you dick. What do you think? There you go with the name calling again. You know, that's not necessary. I have a grow ray. I'll make you bigger than what you are now. But then how are we going to build it the size that we need it if we're bigger? I didn't say all of you. You guys can protect the ones that are building while they're building, but we need all of us to build. Just let me talk to your fucking queen. God damn. Why am I explaining this shit to you? Well, she can hear everything you're saying, and she's telling me to say the things that I'm saying to you. No one gets to see the queen. What do you mean no one gets to see the queen? What do you mean, what do I mean? I mean what I meant when I said what I meant, and I mean it. Can't see the queen. Well, that's not gonna work for me, dude. Now, before I had a chance to, like, say anything else, I feel like a tugging at my shirt. It's my son pulling me. He's bringing my attention to the fact that we've now been surrounded by these little tiny people things. This doesn't look good, Dad. Come with us, another one said, walked up from behind me. I said, come with you where? That's for you to find out when you get where you're going. I'm not going where you want me to go until I know where it is that I'm going before I go there. This conversation is not going to go the way you want it to. And which way is that? With you trying to confuse me with your talking. You're going to follow us, and you're going to go where we ask you to go. Or what? We're going to beat you down. Savagely. And your son. I don't have to threaten my son, he's a kid. We don't care. You think that we've survived here in this heap for 2 weeks without beating savagely anything that tries to mess with us. But we're not trying to mess with you. Basically just came here to see what kind of ants we're here. And now that we know that you're not ants, we'd like to leave. In fact, you know what? I'm not even going to move the fucking compost heap. How do we know that we can trust you? You don't, but I'm telling you I'm not going to, so why don't you just take that and live with it as I said it is? Because we can't trust you. Follow us. Didn't have much of a choice. You know, I didn't want my son to get beat up by these little tiny people and stuff. So, you know, we followed them to this little area dug out to the side. It looked like a little prison, which is what it was. And they threw us in these cells and they told us to wait. For what, they didn't say. But they told us to wait, which we did wait, because we didn't have much of a choice. And I'm thinking to myself, Rosalind's here. I said, Rosalind, what do you want me to do? There's nothing I can do. They're not people. They don't have souls. What do you mean they don't have souls? They don't have souls. They don't suffer. Well, what if You mean to tell me even with the thought of them potentially having to rebuild their whole thing, they're not suffering from like, oh God, no, we don't want to have to rebuild. No suffering.
No, not at all. It's kind of perplexing to me. It's baffling. I don't understand it. I would think that any sentient creature would be able to cause suffering, but it seems like the Queen is the only one that has any kind of mind of her own and can think outside of this box that they've put themselves in.
What does that mean for us?
Well, we're just gonna have to wait here. That's what it means. I don't know what the fuck you want me to tell you.
What I want you to tell me is, hey, I can get you guys the fuck out of here. Let me do some demon shit. And,
well, you're gonna have to let me out of the jar.
Oh, God, Rosamund, don't ask me to do that. I don't know if I trust you all that much yet. How do I know this isn't your doing now as it is?
Because you're the one that decided that you wanted to go and visit a fucking anthill in the middle of the night. I had no, reservations for visiting anthills. I was happy in my jar, relaxing and doing what I was doing. You did this.
Hey, he's got a point, Dad. I was kind of listening outside the door when I came down because I didn't know if you were like recording a story or anything. Hey, you did tell him that you wanted to go see these ants. Oh, whose side are you on, Miles? Well, I'm on my own side because, I don't want to get eaten by ant people things either. So, and it's not Rosamund's fault, it's your fault. You wish your morals and ethics. You can't really make them do anything. No, I can't. But I would like you to, Rosamund.
Are you gonna have to let me out of the jar? I might be able to do something.
Like what?
Maybe I can turn myself into some water and scare them, make them think there's a flood, and they'll open up all the gates.
But what if they don't?
Oh, then I don't know. What do you want me to do?
How about you come in here as like the Ant Queen's potential mate? Woo her a little bit and get her to come to our cause.
You want me to turn myself into an ant?
No, not an ant. They'll probably just attack you. Turn yourself into one of them.
But they all look the same. How's she gonna be able to tell that I'm not just one of her own spawn?
Make yourself look a little bit different. Put some fucking hair on your head or something. I don't fucking know. Jesus fucking Christ. For something that's been alive thousands of...
Hey. There's no need for you to come at me with all this smoke. I'm not the one that did this. Once again, you decided that we were gonna go here and fucking see ants. Why? I don't know. It's fucking ants. Who fucking cares about fucking ants? You cared about these fucking ants. Now you got me stuck down here with your fucking son, and there's all this crazy shit's probably about to pop the fuck off.
And as he's talking, the little ant people come back. The one, I guess, who was talking to us before and put us there. You can follow us now. It's like, you're so calm. Don't you guys, ever get scared or angry? No, we don't. We have absolutely no emotion whatsoever. We are created for a purpose, just like ants. We're just not ants, but we have ant robots that we fashioned after ants. Yeah, obviously, if they're ant robots, they're fashioned. Don't interrupt me when I'm talking. Who am I talking to, you or the Queen? Who do you think you're talking to? The Queen speaks for us all. If we speak, it's her speaking through us. Now follow me. So, I follow this little tiny thing, and I'm thinking to myself, right, maybe I should just punch him in the back of the head, and me and my son and Rosamund can haul ass back the way we came, right? It seemed like a good idea at first. And then Rosamund told me it wasn't going to be a good idea because I whispered to him, hey, you know what I'll do? I'll smack this guy in the back of the head, right? And then we can get the fuck out of here.
Oh, no. That's not going to work.
What do you mean it's not going to work?
It's just not going to work. There's, hundreds of thousands of them, and there's only 3 of us. What are we going to do, beat them all up? No, we'll get swamped and beat down. Well, you'll get beat down, and your son will get beat down. Me, I'll just be in the jar, which will probably break when it hits the ground, and I'll get out. And there's no guarantee that I'm going to help you, because I didn't want to come here in the fucking first place.
Well, at least you're being fucking honest, Rosamund, or are you lying?
Why would I lie about not helping you? I'm not going to help you. I'm telling you that right now. I've decided in my mind that I'm not going to help you. Fuck this shit. I didn't want to come here.
So we follow this thing, right? Big giant door opens up, and inside is brightness, like light. They build robots, so obviously they have some kind of light source and shit, machinery. At the end of this gigantic chamber is another door. That door opens, we go into the next room, which is filled with all these weird-looking eggs. Hundreds and hundreds of them. Like, I couldn't even count how many. So, it could have been more than 100. Or hundreds. It could have been thousands. One more door, and there's a chamber. It's a little smaller than the first two big ones, but still bigger than most of the ones that we've been in and seen so far. You may go sit down on those toadstools. These little mushrooms that were growing out of the ground. They were glowing too, pretty awesome. Don't eat them. They're not those kind of mushrooms. What? I wasn't even thinking about eating. Well, you looked at them and licked your lips. I just happened to lick my lips because they're dry. See? Had nothing to do with your mushrooms. I don't even do mushrooms. I use them for cooking. Well, these aren't for cooking either. Okay, that's nice. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Or night. Or whatever it is to you people. Things. Whatever. Creatures. So we go and we sit on these toadstools, right? Forth comes this quite beautiful woman-person thing. Long hair down to the ground, dragging along. Clothing. She wasn't naked. She's wearing like this golden robe of sorts. The toadstool grows out of the ground. She sits down upon it. I hear that you are planning on moving our colony. No, I'm not planning on moving your colony. I'm planning on moving the heap of rotting vegetable matter that is on top of your colony. That can't be done. Why can't it be done? It's my property. I'm the one that put this fucking heap of garbage there in the fucking first place. I'd like to move it because it's not doing what I needed to do in the time that I needed to do it. And I need the product of what's here. What product? The rotting stuff that I've been letting rot in the ground. It's compost. It's our food source. Yes, your first... No, that was me talking. I was letting you know through them. Okay, well, whatever. However this goes, listen. I told him, you, whoever was listening, all of you, that I would move your colony. But then we'll have to rebuild. Yes, you all keep saying that. You've obviously said it more than one time, and I understand that, but I told you I can move you guys as well. In fact, I can probably move this colony. You know, I'll measure it, do some measurements and stuff, and I'll get blades, and I'll stick them into the ground, right? And I will dig up your colony as it is and move it to a new location, right up under the new heap. I swear to you, I promise. How do we know that we can trust you? Because I said I would do that. Why wouldn't I do that? I have no reason not to do it.
I don't know, Reese. She doesn't look like she believes a word that you're fucking saying.
How would you be able to know?
Because look at her face.
I look at her face, and she does have a look of disbelief on her face. And not disbelief because she can't believe what she's seeing, but disbelief like she doesn't believe what she's hearing. I said, how can I assure you that I will do as you say? You have two choices. Okay, and what are they? Leave the jar or leave your son. I don't like either one of those choices. One, he's my son. How do I know you guys won't, like, I don't know, torture him or some shit? I don't think they'll torture me, Dad. They seem like pretty okay people. I mean, they just don't want you to move their fucking house. Mouse with language. I'm sorry. Excuse me, Queen? Yes, young child. Why did you guys build your stuff right like a butter? Like, where'd you come from? What are you things? Oh, it's a good question. We have absolutely no idea where we come from. You don't know where you come from? No. One day we were non-existent. And the next thing I remember, I was laying eggs in this dark, dark tunnel. I didn't know why or where. Just laying eggs. You laid all those eggs? Yes, I laid all those eggs. Well, where's your, husband or their father? We have no husband or father. But you're a lady. Don't you have to have a marriage in order to, make egg babies? No. See, they haven't all hatched yet. I've only laid them once, and after this, I will lay no more eggs. So this is all, I guess I kind of understand why you don't want to move, because like if you die, then there's just going to be nobody else. Because I can see they're all like, kind of like dude looking, but not dudes. You're the only one that looks like a girl. But that's just really kind of strange that you don't know where you come from. I know where I come from. Where do you come from? I come from my mom. My dad. They did stuff, and you know, she had a belly, and then I was born. I mean, that's the nice way of putting it. I don't want to be too descriptive as to what happens. No, you don't need to be descriptive, Miles. Thank you very much. Now, listen, Queen. Let us go. And like I said, everything will work out in the best. So, you know, we're going back and forth with this Queen for like, you know, maybe a couple of hours on, you know, the process. Now we're going to move in. She decided to let me go and move it without, you know, having to leave my child or my jar of Roswell there. We go. 2 days later, I did exactly what I said I was going to do. You know, we moved her and her family in fucking mulch, compost to the other side. Now I know what you're thinking. Wasn't very funny. Was stupid, but not in the way that you intended. I never said it was going to be either of those things, but I did because it's called OmenG's Stupid Scary Stories. Now I know what you're thinking, right? What's he going to do for the rest of the time? Half an hour's gone by, and usually he stops around here an hour. I'm gonna tell you what happened after we moved them. Apparently my mulch, because I spilled some fertilizer in it, was like super nutritious for them. Super nutritious. I noticed that the ground was starting to swell in the area where I put the compost heap, right? And one day I go out there and I'm getting some compost so I can put it on my peppers. Head pops up out the ground. Not big like our heads, but you know, bigger than what their heads were before. They're like 3 inches tall now. Come crawling out the ground. No longer in their little ant suits. I'm like, what are you guys doing? How'd you get so fucking big? I don't know what it is you're feeding us, but please continue to do so. I'm like, no. I don't want to do that. Like, how do I know that you guys, I mean, there's like thousands of you. You're gonna like end up taking over my whole entire yard, and I won't be able to plant anything anywhere because you'll just start eating at it. The Queen demands it. I don't give a fuck what the Queen demands. Who the fuck do you guys think you're talking to? We've already fulfilled our end of the bargain. Your part was to just eat compost and stay, you know, non-existent as far as I was concerned until I met you, and now I know that you're there. But no, I'm not going to continue to feed you. I just eat what's there. And if you run out of food, which eventually you will, because you can't touch the compost. It's my compost. It's my compost. You can't tell me what I can and cannot do. Like 1,500 of them emerged from the ground at once. It caused this like sinkhole. Queen was sitting there talking shit. Talking shit. I don't know exactly what she said, but it was shit nonetheless that she was talking, flowing out of her mouth freely. And I wasn't trying to hear that. Slapped her. Shut your fucking 2-3 inch mouth. She looked upset, which was strange because up until that point, I hadn't seen them express any type of emotion. She's like, "How dare you?" I said, "How dare you? We've had a pretty nice thing going here without you guys telling us what we're supposed to do. I mean, why would I listen to you? You guys are itty bitty tiny little things. I could step on you really and crush you like bugs." "Oh, really?" I said, "Yes, really." And to prove it, I stepped on one of her little minions. Squished them. It was gross. It was really gross. They didn't have red blood like we do. It was more like a yellowish, greenish color. Real sticky and gooey. It was gross. She shrieked when I did this. So then I knew that they were somehow connected to each other and could feel each other's pain. This angered her. I could tell she was mad because her face looked like she was mad. How dare you? I said, no, how dare you? Okay? Go back on the ground. Dig deeper. Go find rotting things that you can eat elsewhere. I need my fucking compost for my projects with my peppers. What peppers? The ones growing over, and I looked to where my peppers were growing, and all that was there was just dirt that looked like it had been churned up from underground. My jaw dropped. What have you done? Do you know how long it took me to get those fucking peppers to grow? I don't care. Miles! Jaden! Come outside. My two sons come outside. I said, these sons of bitches, well, things of bitch, just killed my peppers. Not all of them, Dad. There's still ones in the front. Yeah, but they killed the ones back here that were actually growing. The ones in the front haven't grown yet. This means war, bitch. This means war. Now, I'm not going to get into what happened in the war in detail because we won, and rather quickly. We just started running around stomping on them. My sons got their bikes out and rolled over them and crushed them all. Queen was the only one left. I put her in a jar. Rosmer's jar. He's been having some fun with her for the past 3 days. And not the kind of fun you think. No. Remember, he has no balls or sex organs. He's just a demon. They don't have sex. Unless, of course, they take over human. And since she has sexless children, there's no sex going on there, folks. He's just having fun with her. He's learned that since she has this brain that can feel suffering, that he can cause her suffering. And that's what he's been doing. Now, of course, I'm not going to let this go on for too much longer because I know the last time that I let him feed on suffering for too long, he cracked out of the jar and, the hornet chased me out of my towel and flip-flop. And I don't feel like having another situation of being chased out of a towel and a flip-flop. That wouldn't go well. I think I'm done telling this story. I'd rather talk about something else right now. It's kind of what's distracting me from the story. I'm concerned, worried, terribly worried about the state of this country. And it's no laughing matter, but it is a laughing matter, but it's not really a laughing matter. And the matter that's not for laughing but is for laughing is the fact that our president, well, the president of the United States of America, has less cognitive ability than my grandfather when he was bedridden. Like, at least my grandfather still remembered things and could, think. Didn't talk much. Whatever got, whatever happened to him, it made it very hard for him to speak. He could still write and stuff, and read, shit like that. But our president, the president, doesn't seem like he has the ability to do much of either, read or write. He definitely doesn't know how to form complete sentences. A lot of the times when I see him talking, I'm concerned that he may potentially be having a fucking stroke right during a speech. Because he'll be talking about some shit and just completely go off topic and start talking about complete and total nonsense and start speaking gibberish. And the people around him are just like, ha ha ha, and they'll shoo him away somewhere and nobody ever comes out and says, what the fuck? Or they do say what the fuck, but not loud enough. I'm no Democrat. I'm no Republican. I'm not far left, nor am I far right. I'm what the hell is going on here? This dude can't possibly be running this country. Kamala Harris is just as dumb as he is. Well, he's just senile, suffering from dementia, probably onset fucking Alzheimer's and shit. I mean, I wonder sometimes, does he wake up in the morning and completely forget what is going on? Like, just in general. Like, does he have to have staff remind him at all moments of the day and night exactly what's going on? I believe so. I believe so. I don't know if there's any proof or evidence. But I mean, in times like these, when you have a president that is literally incapable of doing normal, everyday things, would it make sense for him to be running a country? I mean, he probably wouldn't even be able to run a small store that sold one item with one price. But yet, no, he's in control of a country with 52 states, a multitude of foreign affairs that need to be dealt with. Like, I wonder how briefings go. Do the people come in and say, Mr. President, yeah? China has knocked on our door. They want to open up talks of peace. Peace? Yes, peace. But we're not at war, are we? No, but you did say some really fucked up shit the other day about potentially bombing the shit out of China for sailing the high seas. I said that? Yeah, you did. Then you told Canada to suck your balls, and you touched a little child inappropriately. Well, I love the children. Yes, a little bit too much, sir. A little bit too much. We're going to have to limit your exposure to people. We feel that in your current mental state, deteriorating is going to allow you to show who you really are. And for that, we're going to have you campaign like we did last time. You campaigned, which is to not campaign. We already know that you have the money to run. That's fine. You don't need any more. Just stay out of the sight of cameras. Like, I wonder, because, you have to have debates. They always do. What the fuck's gonna happen when he has to debate someone who's not mentally disabled? Like, I don't think he could debate with an autistic kid. They could probably beat him in a debate and not even say, 4 words. Hello, Mr. President. What? Huh? Who's the president? Am I the president? Oh, I'm the president? And the points go to the opponent on the left. Right? Is that a little kid over there? Yes, it is, Mr. President. Can I go over there and shake his hand? Why? Because it's good for photo ops. No, actually it's not. Not with the current things that are going on. And this is crazy, and maybe I shouldn't say it, but I'm going to. How is it, right? And I understand he's the president, not his son. But explain to me this, if anybody can, right? If there was the president, let's just use me for example and make up a whole totally fictitious story of some sort. I'm running for president of not a country, but for a company, right? They dig up a whole bunch of dirt on social media about me, right? I say this, or I said that, or they have some past video of me smoking drugs, and my children are a complete and total fucking train wreck who have been proven to do things that they're not supposed to do that are extremely, not only illegal, but just totally immoral. How would I then be considered the right kind of material for a position of prestige? I wouldn't be, right? No, of course not. I don't know. What bothers me more than the stuff going on in the government is the willingness of the American people to accept it as okay. Now, of course, you're probably like, why don't you do something about it? I can't do anything about it by myself. And I'm not sure if I would want to do what is necessary, because I wouldn't live to enjoy it. I don't think any of us that are my age are going to live to enjoy a country that is supposed to be run the way it's supposed to be run. And, you know, it's like, this is how I feel that it is. And I could be wrong, and I probably am, and I hope I am. But, you know, they're trying to do all this commercial space flight shit, right? And that shit costs lots of money. It's funny how, at the same time that they're trying to do all this commercial space flight shit, the prices of everything has gone up, right? Now, you're probably saying that has nothing to do with it. And it probably doesn't. But why not? Why can't it, right? I mean, more absurd shit has happened. More absurd shit has definitely happened. I mean, you have banks failing. Why they're failing, I don't know. Whether they spend all people's money and then people came to get their money and they couldn't get their money, so these people are like, well, give me all my money right now. Well, we'll write you a check. Write me a check? What are you writing me a check for? I want cash. So I'm here at the bank. I want a check from you. Now you can take the check and go cash it. Like, what if, you know, a bank did that to you, right? Like, they gave you a check instead of cash and told you to go cash it at another bank, which would probably cost money because, you know, banks don't want to cash it for free. And you know, why are they allowed to extort and just, like, take money from people all the damn time? I find that to be strange as well. I mean, literally, a mortgage is just them telling you you're going to continue to pay us so we don't take your fucking house. Why? Like, let's say, for instance, I give you something that's extremely expensive. And I say, okay, you can pay 30% of it now. And then you can pay the other 70% over 5 years. But, you're going to pay me extra money for allowing me to pay you back. No, for allowing you to pay me back over this 5 years. And then they make sure they charge you enough in interest that not only do they make money off of what they sold you, but then they're making money off of the fact that they're allowing you to pay them the money that you owe them. Which to me just seems like a whole bunch of extortion. Maybe I don't understand what extortion is, but it seems like extortion to me, just not with a gun pointed to your head. Does everybody remember that time when people were losing their houses left and right to these banks and shit? Maybe they lost their job. Maybe they defaulted on a payment. And they've been paying this thing for like 10 or 15 years, but they missed like 2 or 3 payments, and all of a sudden it's fucking foreclosure. It's like, but you put all that money in. You don't get any of it back. Well, you lived in the house for all that time. Yes, I know I did. But it's my house. See, that's the whole thing. You don't really own your home until you own your home. And even then, you don't really own it, right? Do you or don't you? I guess it all depends on where you live in this country, depending on how their tax system works and shit like that. You know, because then, you know, if it's not the bank, it's somebody else. Doesn't it just seem like there's always somebody with their hand in our fucking pocket? And they're just taking. They're not giving anything back in return. Come bank with my bank. We won't charge you an arm and a leg. We're still going to charge you, but bank with us. No, don't bank with them. Bank with us. Our portfolio is much better. They're all going to do the same thing with your fucking money. They're going to go spend it gambling. Just not the kind of gambling that you would probably do if you gamble. Me personally, I don't gamble because I could find 1,000,001 things to do with money that would serve a purpose at the point in which I spend it, than spending it on something which may potentially give me money or not. I don't like an unsure thing, let's just put it that way. You know, I like to know exactly what it is I'm walking into before I walk into it. I have to be careful. You know, gambling to me is just a waste of time. It's obviously a waste of money. Unless you're like a professional gambler who like somehow knows things that nobody else knows. And while we're on the subject of fucking gambling, does anybody remember Pete Rose? Remember that dude? Baseball player. Like, so many home runs, Hall of Fame and shit. And then they found out that he was gambling on baseball. And they stripped him. removed him from the Hall of Fame. They ran his name through the fucking mud. And here we are today with things like Playbook and FanDuel and shit. And what do? They bet on every fucking sport. It's not a sport that you can't bet on nowadays. You can bet on motherfucking golf. How you do, I don't know, but you can. Tennis, cricket, every fucking sport. But yet, no, this guy tried to make a little extra fucking money, and they ran him through the fucking mud. Like, no, you can't do that. But then these big ass corporations come around, and oh yeah, you can't do that. That's why I don't even watch sports. I wasn't a really big sports fan back in the day, but I'm definitely not a big sports fan now. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I don't have any fucking proof to prove any of these claims that I'm making, but I believe that every sport is now fixed. Every sport is fixed. That's just my thought process on it. Let's think about why I believe it's fixed, right? Number one, you're paying these guys huge amounts of money. They have contracts, which are usually sealed. It's not like they're made public fucking knowledge of what exactly these contracts entail. But I can imagine there's probably a clause that says, do as you're told. Or guess what? Not only will we take away your wonderful, cushy contract of 3 years, but then think about the loss that you will face when all your corporate endorsements say fuck you. I mean, I don't know. I feel sorry for some of these athletes, but I really don't. But I do in a way, because all that money and shit that they make is tied to a song and a dance that they have to do, or they won't have the things that they have. Make a comment like some of them do, and all of a sudden, you're getting dropped by sponsors. So all that extra money that you were making is now long gone. And of course, most of these guys have absolutely no financial knowledge of how to handle all this money, so they're buying dumb shit and spending it on dumb stuff. Nothing that is of any value. Buying homes that they don't need just so they can say, "Look at me," rather than just making sure they have 4 secure, sturdy walls and a roof attached to it. 1 car, perhaps, that's paid off. No, they're leasing this and renting that. Money just flying out of their hands like it's fucking water. But yet, no, all the people who work in industry and manufacturing and shipping and transportation and law enforcement and doctors and, well, fuck lawyers. But, all the people that you really need to make this country work are being paid pennies and shit. Like, a basketball game is not going to save my life from anything. It's not going to save my life at all. And you see how much they cried and bitched and moaned, when COVID was happening? Like, shut down, we can't allow this, we got to be able to let them play some games. Why? Who's going to go watch it? It's a fucking pandemic, you jackass. Well, we'll televise the games. You're that desperate. And you know what it was about? Because they couldn't have these guys doing a song and a dance, but they were in a contract to be paid, and it wasn't their fault that they couldn't go play games. It was the fucking pandemic, but they figured out a way to make it happen anyway, didn't they? Sports stars are starting to pop up with fucking COVID and shit because of it. I don't know if any of them died. Maybe they did. To be honest with you, I really didn't care that much about them. What I was more worried about is the fact that doctors and nurses and things, and people who had to work would get sick with the shit, and then they probably died. I'm sure lots of them died. Where were their, $1 million contracts? Could you imagine, like, if that's how jobs work? Like, not just a contract, you have a contract and you can work here until, 2 years from now type of contract. But, like, what if you were really good at what you did, right? And whatever this industry was a business that was making billions of dollars, right? And it was a business that wasn't going anywhere anytime soon. There was no threat. Let's just say you make burgers, right? And burgers are a commodity that everybody has to have. Not just like regular burgers. These are like life-saving burgers. Everybody needs these life-saving burgers. Everybody has to have these life-saving burgers. No one's ever not going to buy these life-saving burgers, right? And you're good at making them. They should have like a job draft, We're going to pick the best guys, and we're going to pay you guys really well, so you stay with us. I mean, that's why they pay these sports stars so much money, and things, and endorsements, and throw all this cash and shit out. At least that's my opinion. Like I said, this is just my opinion. The way things work, or the way they should work, in my opinion. You know, they make you feel like you have to have so much shit, but then they make sure that you can't really get all that shit. And the only way for you to get all that shit is to work your ass off and then never be able to enjoy it. Or die before you get a chance to, you know, fucking working until you're like 70 years old and then you retire, and like shortly after that you drop dead of a fucking heart attack from all the work you had to do. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Shut the fuck up, Richie Rich. Pull yourself up on your daddy's goddamn wallet is what you guys do most of the fucking time. You know, you're handed these things. And I'm not saying that if you have wealth, it should not be generational. Of course, if I had this, that, and the other, I'm going to pass it on to my children, because why wouldn't I? Do you want them to suffer and struggle? Of course not. Nobody wants their children to suffer and struggle. But I believe that all children that you have, if you are a working class American person, should have learned the value of work. Because nothing is free. And if it is free, there's some kind of string attached to it. There always is. There always is. But let's move on from that. Let's discuss some other things, shall we? And I don't think I'm going to put this under OmenG's Stupid Scary Stories. In fact, I probably won't post this video at all. I will. Of course I will. I know I will. But I'll have to post it under Stupid Scary Stories. Probably cut it in half and put the second section under like something else. Because this isn't, you know...